What would be gaming mice without Logitech or Razer, huh? Recently, Mamba 2012 got my attention and it somehow took my mind to G500s from Logitech. For a moment I wondered why, and I realized they somehow released at the same period of time. Mamba 2012 was released in 2011 and the G500s was released 2 years later. They shouldn't really be compared considering their price range, Mamba being twice the price of Logitech G500s, but their specs are extremely similar and I think they target the same kind of players. Mamba 2012 from Razer is somewhere between G500s and G700s. The G700s would demolish Mamba in almost any aspect, so I will compare it with G500s, which was released only 2 years later than Mamba, and the same year with G700s, but G700s is situated in a different range, so the comparison would not be fair. Mamba is wireless but is known for its issues, so I will consider it wired in this particular comparison, so we'll be side by side with the G500s. Gaming on both is great, so I won't talk minutes about how they perform in a particular game. They're both customizable, they run smooth, and in fact they're gaming mice. They both do what they should and they do it at the top level. I'm going to dig deep and get into details. Their appearance is different but great on both sides. I would say the G500s looks more professional and Mamba looks more into gaming. This is so subjective as I'm not choosing any in particular. It will mostly depend on what else you have on your desk and how the mouse combines with other peripherals. The materials are quite different. The G500s is made of solid shiny plastic on the top and made from abrasive plastic on the grip, so if your hands sweat you won't lose grip with your mouse. The materials on Mamba 2012 is mostly made of soft plastic similar to rubber. The frame is made of solid shiny plastic but has some rubber on both sides to improve the grip. Some complained about the grip of Mamba 2012 having problems with sweat. However, I didn't feel like that, so I can't complain regarding this issue. Talking about ergonomics, it's hard to separate them, both being fantastic. For my hand, I tend to give this to the G500s. It somehow feels more natural in my hand, but Mamba is great too. The buttons layout tend to be the same, however the G500 wins by far. The two DPI buttons are higher on G500s, so this way when I press them I'm sure I'm pressing what I want. On Mamba, being at the same level with the left button, I have to check twice or even to look at it, so I'm sure I'm pressing the DPI button and not just the left button. The thumb buttons are very well distinguished on G500s. You always know which one you press, and there are 3. On the other side, on Mamba, there are only 2 buttons, and in some situations one more button really matters. The scroll wheel is much better on G500s in any possible way. They're both comfortable, but Logitech gives hyper-fast scrolling and the scroll wheel has 2 more buttons to go left and right, a feature which is not present on Mamba 2012 from Razer. G500s has more DPI than Mamba 2012. The first has a maximum of 8200 DPI and Mamba has 6400. However, this is not a deal breaker in games and almost any other situation. Both Razer and Logitech have their own software, Synapse for Razer and Logitech Gaming software for Logitech. Both programs helps you to customize the buttons, DPI, custom profiles, and in Synapse you can also choose the colors for Mamba 2012. You can create plenty of profiles and on each profile you customize your own buttons, light and DPI. Both mice have internal memory, so the profiles will be remembered even if you move to a different computer or you reinstall your operating system. This feature is truly fantastic. If we talk strictly about gaming, I would consider a tie, and everything depends of subjective preferences. If we're considering everything as a whole, well, the Logitech would win if we consider browsing and editing. The one more button on the thumb finger really makes the difference. For example, browsing, I can use the button from the middle for back, the other one for close tab, and the other one for new tab. So with back, new tab and close tab, I have everything I need on my thumb finger for browsing. On the other hand, on Razer Mamba 2012, having only two buttons, I'm mostly stuck on back and forward layout. The perfect layout for browsing, in my opinion, would be to have one button for new tab, one button for close tab, one button for back, and ideally one button to go and search. But three buttons are the most needed. With two buttons, browsing is limited. Then is the scroll wheel. The hyper fast scrolling really matters in browsing, and the left and right option really matters in video editing and photo editing. Another advantage of the G500s, you can add or remove its weight. There are two different types of weight, of 1.7 grams per weight or 4.5 grams per weight. Playing with its weights, you can have a mouse that fits your needs in terms of weight. The cable is long enough on both mice, however on Razer is a bit longer if this matters. Both cables are braided and the Razer USB is branded. In Synapse you can create plenty of profiles, probably more than would be ever needed on a PC, and here you get access to almost anything regarding the mouse. All buttons can be customized excepting the left button, so you can play with its buttons depending on what you're using it. About its LED, you can basically choose any color you'd want, and even though I'm not that much into shiny light all over, this feature is nice to have. There is the option to turn it off if you don't like lights on your devices or if you find it disturbing. And there are three options of intensity. There's a tab for calibration, and as far as I know, this fits great with Razer mousepads. However, I don't have one, so I can't talk much about it, but I noticed it works better if it's turned off, at least in my case. And there's a power tab available when you use this mouse as a wireless mouse. In Logitech G software, the first screen gives me the option to use its internal memory, which was set by me, or to use game detection. This game detection has some presets for some games. Then we have the option to customize everything, which is really nice. You also have the option to import and export your profile. Otherwise there's no LED and nothing else to do here, but it's definitely enough for what is needed. In terms of design, Logitech G500s has mostly the same design with MX518, which is considered a legendary mouse and initially released in 2005, then re-released in 2018 in China and 2019 worldwide. If you're moving from a mouse that has its right button much below the left button, it might take some time to get used to, but once done, indeed, its ergonomic design is great. Their sound is pretty similar, but Logitech is a bit more crisp and the scroll is a bit more silent. In conclusion, it's hard to separate them, and honestly they're both great, but since this is a comparison, if I would have to choose only one of them, I would go for G500s. Thanks for watching.